Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes and thank you for joining me for another video in my Ranked series here on my channel. If you have not joined me for an episode of Ranked here on my YouTube channel, this is where I grab a horror franchise or a series of horror movies. It could be a director's catalogue of films, and I rank them from my least favourite to favourite. And so far here on my channel I've done pretty mainstream franchises. I've done Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, Friday the 13th. And when I was preparing this video, I was like, okay, what series of films do I want to do? I thought of Saw, Paranormal Activity, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Scream was another one. But then I was like, no, let's sort of take a step back from the more well-known horror franchises, and I went with the Hatchet films. And by all means, if you're a horror fan, this isn't like a major deep cut or anything. It's not like the Hatchet franchise is this way underground series of horror movies. They're pretty well known, but as I said, that I feel like they are a step back from the other ones that I listed. So if you're unfamiliar, there are 4 Hatchet movies, so this is going to be a quicker video. And it has been a little while since I last checked out these movies. However, once I came up with the idea of doing the Hatchet films, I was pretty sold on it. So without delaying any longer, let's get into this list. So starting off at my number 4 is Hatchet 3, which might be a surprise to some people because from what I've heard, a lot of people really like Hatchet 3. However, this is my least favourite out of the 4 by a fair bit, honestly. What I don't like about this one is the fact that, you've got this whole, like, what are they, like a SWAT team or mercenaries or whatever, going into Victor's swamp to try and kill him. If you're unfamiliar, that is Victor Crowley. He is the Jason Voorhees of this franchise, pretty much. This group of like mercenaries or whatever go into his swamp to find him and kill him. I don't know, I just didn't really like the storyline in this one. I found this one to be honestly quite boring. Yes, the effects and the gore are great in this movie. They're great throughout the whole franchise, but the story and all that just doesn't get me in this one, and I'm sure that's why a lot of people do like this movie, but I don't know, I just wasn't sold on Hatchet 3. It's the one that I watched the least. As I said, it's been a while since I've seen any of them, but by far this is the one that I come back to, the least often. So coming in at my number 4 is Hatchet 3. Alright. Coming in at my number 4 is Hatchet 2, which I just went from one that I presume a lot of people thought were going to be higher to one that is a lot of people's least favourite. As I said, Hatchet 3, the one that I had before this one, is my least favourite by a mile. So I really do actually like Hatchet 2, and it was almost coming in at my second place. But this one is maybe a little bit more bland compared to the other 2 that I still have yet to come. But again, the effects are great. The gore is awesome. Victor Crowley he's great in all the movies, but really good in this one too. I don't really know why a lot of people don't like this one. I've heard some people say that it's too similar to the first, but the first Hatchet movie is great, so I don't know. I really do like this one. I think it's a lot of fun. But yeah, coming in at my number 3 is Hatchet 2. Alright, and coming in at my number 2 might be a surprise for some people, but I have Victor Crowley, which is the 4th Hatchet film. Again, just so much fun. This could be the funniest out of all 4 movies. If you're unfamiliar with the franchise, as I said, they have comedic undertones as well. It's not just straight up, hardcore or anything. It's pretty fun with it. This one's probably the funniest. This plane crash lands in Victor's swamp, and he is trying to get in this plane and pick off the passengers and everything. There are a couple of jump scares that I remember getting me in this one as well. But I just remember I watched the first 3 Hatchet films pretty much back to back, preparing myself to watch this one because I honestly put this one off for a little while. And this one was just so refreshing. I had so much fun with it, especially coming off the back of Hatchet 3, which is, if you're watching them in order, obviously, that's the one before this one. I just found this one to be so refreshing, so much fun. As I said, the blood gore, I keep saying that, they're great in all of these movies, but this one's just a lot of fun. I would say it's probably the funnest one of the franchise too, but coming in at my number 2 is Victor Crowley. And as I said, a small franchise, so you'll obviously know if you've been keeping track what my number 1 is, and that is the first Hatchet film. I mean, it sets up Victor Crowley, who unfortunately I feel like just doesn't get talked about enough. You know, if you're talking about modern horror icons, you know, a lot of people will bring up Art the Clown. If you go back, you know, to the early 2000s, you got Billy the Puppet from Saw. Not a lot of people are talking about Victor Crowley anymore, and Victor Crowley is awesome, and obviously this is the film that set him up. You know, he's not anything that we haven't seen before. He's a lot like Jason Voorhees or whatever, but man, he's so cool. Sets up the location of the Honey Island swamps, which is just such a cool setting as well. This movie is just a lot of fun. Obviously, the first one in the franchise, so, you know, it sets the pace for the rest of it, but such a cool movie, and, yeah, as I said, just really enjoyable. So let's quickly recap this. As I said, a shorter video only because there are 4 films in this franchise, but my least favourite out of the Hatchet films has to be Hatchet 3, so that was my last place at number 4. Coming in at number 3, Hatchet 2, which is a lot of people's least favourite, but as I said, I like it. You know, I think I've heard just a lot of people say it's too similar to the first. The first is great, so why not just have another one? I don't know. Number 2, Victor Crowley. As I said, just a real boost coming off the back of a disappointing Hatchet 3. And then my number 1 is the OG, the original film, Hatchet. Thank you for joining me in this video, guys. As I said, a quicker one. Normally these ranked videos take a little while because, you know, they're bigger franchises. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. There are a couple of the examples that I've done in the past. It was refreshing to do a smaller franchise, you know, the Hatchet films, only 4 of them. I don't think there's another one coming anytime soon, at least. So this was a nice break to do, as I said, a smaller franchise, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have seen the Hatchet films, let me know your thoughts of them in the comments below. Let me know your ranking order, and if you want to see another video, another episode of Ranked in this series, let me know what franchise you want to see. It could have been any of the ones that I listed before. As I said, you can pick a director's catalogue of movies. So, I don't know, any ideas that you come up with and you want to see me do, shoot them to me in the comments below. But otherwise, thank you for joining me in this video, guys, and I'll see you for another video soon. Peace.